an awful lot when it comes to movies. And because there was multiple genres that were explored and all this sort of thing. And but you can go through each one and pick them out, what have you, of what was achieved and what was explored or attempted and that sort of thing. And one of the things was disaster movies. So there was quite a few. There was Towering Inferno, the Poseidon Adventure, Earthquake, stuff like that. But the mainstay of the genre were these airplane disasters. And in fact, there was a series of films called Airport, which actually I think it got its start in the late 60s with the first one. But that continued on a while and went on to inspire the comedy Airplane and Airplane 2, which are masterpieces in comedy. Really great and all that. And of course, outside of Airport series, there was other kind of rip-offs of Airplanes in Trouble and stuff like that. But eventually, another mainstay of 70s, and I think it continued for a while into the 80s, and then the miniseries kind of took over and stuff like that, but was TV movies. Basically, a 2-hour movie made for television. Yes, that's right. And out of that, you got became basic television shows like Columbo, but it was always these special movies. It was the mystery movie of the week, so it would be Columbo one week and McCloud the next one, stuff like that. So they were churning out a lot of these and going on all cylinders, while also producing regular television series. So there was quite a few. There were in all the different genres, police stories, murder mysteries, which of course they were chasing a bunch of them. Not all of them landed to get a series out of that. So not all of them got to become Columbo, But then horror was a genre that was chased in the TV movie template. And, the disaster movie In the Air and horror came together. I suppose you could argue they did anyway, because it's very scary to be in a plane in trouble. But horror, when it comes to the supernatural, and there was a lot of horror genre going on in the 70s, of course, especially concerning the supernatural. And so the airplane disaster and the supernatural horror elements came together in the horror at 37,000 feet. Yeah, that's the actual count. And hey, that's pretty high up. Yeah, you're up there 37,000 feet, and oh no, something terrible is happening. So, yeah, I did see it a long time ago. And my main interest in it was William Shatner was in it. Yeah, it's Captain Kirk in there. So this is in the middle years after Star Trek was no more, and then eventually you get to the movies later on for Star Trek. But there was this wilderness years. And William Shatner, he did do a lot of work. He was on a lot of these shows. He would be the guest star on quite a few of them. And some TV movies, and also theatrical films here and there. This was one of the TV movie ones, and there's quite a few other television stars in there. Chuck Connors was in it, Buddy Ebsen, and Paul Winfield, interestingly enough, is in there. Of course, he would go on to be in Wrath of Khan with Shatner. And then Roy, I never can remember the pronunciation of Roy. You see his face, you know him. He was the lead in The Invaders. Remember that? The aliens, and no one believed the guy. But it's either Roy Fiennes but it's not. It looks like it's Thinnes. But anyway, that's the deal. The women I all recognize, but I don't know their names. So I'm sorry. I feel terrible. But, that's the deal. So anyway, it's a simple story. You got a bunch of people leaving London, heading to New York, and they're getting on board. Chuck Connors is the captain of the plane, and William Shatner is playing an ex-priest. So he's lost his faith and left the cloth, as it were, with his sort of, I don't know, I guess he's supposed to be his hippie girlfriend that he's hooked up with. So it's a nice plane, boy, you know, and it's only a handful of people on it. That's just the best. So so you meet the cast of characters as they're boarding, and you get a little insight on their individual stories. But there's the guy from the Invaders, Roy. He and his wife show up, and he's having this I thought he was like an archaeologist or something, but maybe a collector. But anyway, he has this old artifact that apparently was an altar from the Druids, and he's secured, I guess, ownership of it, and he's shipping it back to New York. So that's going to be on the plane. So it's on there. There's this woman who gets in there too, and she's like a thorn in his side because she's against him seizing possession of this artifact, says it doesn't belong to him and it's wrong for him to take it and all this. So you're already getting the element that will bring the supernatural into this, and there's already signs of it. The guys are loading it onto the plane, and there's weird noises, and at one moment, all of a sudden, there's like ice and snow forming on the plane, and the flight crew are sitting there like, hey, what the hell's going on? Oh yeah, the guy, man, what's his name? The professor from Gilligan's Island. He's a member of the flight crew. He's in there, and this other guy that I didn't recognize before Chuck Connors shows up, they're sitting there. What the hell was that? Did you see that? There, you know, the ice appears on the window, and then it goes away. Now already, you know, at the very least, the crew's got it. Wait a minute, we're hallucinating. Maybe we shouldn't be flying. But they just, well, you know, the stress and stuff. Blow it off. So anyway, everybody boards. The plane takes off. It's fine. Now the woman that's protesting the Invaders guy, well, she brought her dog with her. Should have left him home, but brought him with her, and they say, yeah, you can't bring your dog in the passenger section. It'll have to be sent to the cargo section. So the dog is caged, and he's sitting in there with the weird Druid altar. So already the dog is nervous. He already knows this ain't right. Something's wrong with this thing, you know. So anyway, as it unfolds, it spends some amount of time with some. Turns out, Invader guy, Roy, I forget what his name was in the show. His wife keeps hearing voices and whatnot, and it just so happens she's been plagued with, I don't know, psychic attacks, I guess, something of that nature. And that, so, you know, the spirits can reach out to her more than some of the others. One of the weird things in there is this little girl is one of the passengers, and she's by herself. There's no guardian, there's no parents, and I'm like, what the hell? You know, just make sure you get on the plane, honey. I just let her fly by herself, and I'll pick her up in New York. I don't know. That was just weird. But, I mean, it's like, okay, you wanted some kid to be on there to get scared and everything, but couldn't you have had one of the characters be her mother or father? You know? I mean, it's just, I don't know. So, Shatner, well, he's getting drunk, and he's all cynical and depressed about God and stuff like that, you know. But then the weird stuff happens, and they're like, hey, what's going on? I mean, one of the the stewardesses, holy crap, are they cute. And those outfits, man, oh man, those are nice. Yeah, they're pretty. But anyway, one of them gets stuck in this little elevator they got that goes up and down in the levels of the plane, and the ghosts start trying to freeze her. And she starts crying and banging on the door and stuff, and then a couple of the passengers. One of the guys is this cowboy dude who turns out apparently was an actor in, little cheap cowboy B movies or whatever. And he said, I'm famous, and the girls don't recognize him at all, and it's kind of, oh well. But anyway, he he's one of the guys that goes and gets the girl out of the elevator and all that. But as they go, they run, man, geez, it's all this. There's a lot of ice and stuff, and they go to the captain and say, "Hey, the stewardess says we must have the cargo door must be open or something because it's all the ice is forming and stuff. So they've they got a problem, and so they check the pressure levels and no, everything's sealed." And he says, "Well, I felt it." So eventually they go and investigate, and of course the whole damn cargo section is just frozen solid. Chuck Connors and the professor from Gilligan's Island, they go in there and they discover the dog has been frozen to death, and they start to see the source of the problem is coming from where the altar was. And then all of a sudden the professor turns around, "Get out, run!" He's like, "Why, what?" And then the professor is frozen to death immediately. And then Chuck Connors barely gets out, but one of his arms gets damaged. It gets frozen, and then it remains numb throughout the movie, I believe. And so he barely escaped, the same fate the professor got. And so there's Paul Winfield's the doctor. He checks him, and, "Well, yeah, you've had some severe neural damage to your arm here," and all this type of stuff. And so it just gets more and more of these antics, and they realize, holy crap, what the hell's going on here? And then you got the lady who's mad about the guy stealing the artifact, saying you've angered the old spirits and all this sort of stuff. And they demand a sacrifice, and then Buddy Ebsen says, "I ain't dying on this plane." So he comes up with the idea, we need to sacrifice something, and the hippie girl agrees. And they start looking at the little kid. It's like, no, we can't do that. So then hippie girl decides, well, let's just take the little girl's doll and we'll sacrifice that. That'll fool them. And they cut a lock of not the girl's hair, but the woman, the archaeologist guy's or whatever it was, the Roy's wife. She's the one who apparently has some psychic connection to these spirits. So they cut a lock of her hair and tie it onto the doll and put it there and offer this up as a sacrifice, and that will calm the spirits. Well, they pretty much figured out that it's just a plastic rub-it-up dolly doll. And they get pissed, and they make the doll puke green snot or whatever the hell. So they're like, oh no, now we're in trouble. So then they get the idea they need to make a fire. So they they start a fire on the airplane. And ultimately the priest decides he's got to rise to the occasion. So he takes a torch and he goes into the cargo hold. The other idea is they need to get to sunlight. Now, the more interesting thing is, before all the stuff really hits the fan, is they're flying in air, but they can't seem to get anywhere. They're kind of, it's as if they're in a loop or some sort. So it's holding them there where they are. But I guess they're able to go, they can't go forward, but they can go up and down. So they rise up to meet to where the sunlight will appear faster than it would if they just waited. And so they get into the sunlight, and that's supposed to drive out the spirits. But by then, Shatner confronts what it's in there, and all you do, he turns around the corner in the cargo hold, and there's some figure, a cloaked figure, standing there. And then his girlfriend's calling for him to come back, and says, "It's okay, you can come back. We're in the sunlight or whatever." And he's like, "No, I got to see it." So he looks again, and the next thing you know, he's blown out of the room. The door rips open, and he's ejected out into the sky, and it's badly done. Most of it is a haunted plane. They're on the plane and soundstage. It's fine for what it is, But they try to do this scene of him going out into, the sky, and it's bad. He's like, it doesn't really work very well. But off it goes, he goes, which turns out he really didn't need to, I wouldn't think. But, you know, he wanted to see the guy in the cloak. Maybe he took his hood off and it revealed it was the devil or something. I don't know. And that's it for Shatner. And then the plane lands, and everybody's like, oh, that was weird. And they go home. But it's unique in that, you know, it's this disaster in the air. But it's like a demonic possession, you know, is Exorcist meets airport, I guess. And it's a fun little romp for what it is. A bit more on the silly side overall, but I got to admit, I was thoroughly entertained by it. So there you go. A classic from 70s TV movie, The Horror at 37,000 feet. All right, I don't know what the hell happened there with the opening and whatnot, and then restarting the video that it concluded. It's not on a loop or anything. It's every time I tried to use. I'm at the end of my rope, damn near, with EV Mux, and right off the bat, I got to make sure that I can be heard. That'll take a minute. Okay, it's going through, because that's another thing. Never know when the audio will be there. But, you know, I've shifted it here where you can see my drawing board, at least, and there is that. So I'm going to do some drawings while I play these videos I've done. That one was the most recent one I posted of my review of The Horror at 37,000 feet, starring William Shatner, Chuck Carter's, and Buddy Ebsen. Yes. Look, I recommend it. It's a fun little run. But anyway, that's what I'll do. So let me see who. Oh, first things first, I've got to take care of this. I didn't realize I had a super tip from Haley from 4 days ago. Good Lord. Thank you, Haley from Pretty Anti-Social. So let me play that and hope that that works. It's an image. So this being an image of Brittany and Chrissy from MegaCon back when everything was wonderful. And Chrissy is the Scarlet Witch, and Brittany, I guess, is Sailor Moon or one of those characters. Anyway, oh no, everything is falling apart. Yeah. So anyway, she says, my, how things have changed between these two. Seems like only yesterday they were both pretending to like each other. And that's the key word. I think so. At least in social settings. Yeah. Now, look, I know a lot of people are upset with Chrissy over that whole quartering deal. But that doesn't mean I'm going to suddenly become a Brittany Venti fan. That will not be happening. And, actually it was on a live stream with Chrissy that what she did to a woman I consider to be a friend of mine was utterly uncalled for, and it was terrible. And now, in a weird way, I guess maybe not so weird, it's come around to bite Chrissy on the butt, so these things happen and all that, but there you go. So, yes, thank you, Haley, for attending. I'm so sorry I didn't catch it. Been unable to live stream, so I didn't really check. It's a super tip. But thanks again for the $5. So there we go. It should go into the played again. Why is it still saying unplayed? Oh, I guess I gotta take it down. There we go. All right. And I did see while the video was playing so I can have something to be an intro. Ray Schneider stopped by to say always great to hear from me. Thank you, Ray Schneiders. Ray Schneiders, of course, has been a frequent guest on Pat Dixon's New York City Crime Report, and he's a veteran police officer and really knows his stuff, and he's a great guy all around. It's him and Pete Panuccio could be great guests for stories about crime, of course, and both have their knowledge of the field, and so always makes a great guest and what have you. Plus, Ray, if you ever see him, he's in great shape. He puts us all to shame, and so I have no excuses. That's the real stickler there. Ray did something right. I did something wrong. So that's how that goes. But anyway, thanks for stopping by, Ray. Greatly appreciated. Of course, Alexandria and Nodak are here, and you know what Nodak says. Hit that like button. Wes Cagle says hi. Nodak, Wes Cagle. Yeah, Wes Cagle had some comments on the movie. So, I'll go ahead and show that, but let me try to get so I can read it. That used to be a thing when I was a kid. They used to put kids on the plane, little kids like 5 to 9 years old, and the crew would be aware and keep an eye out for the kid. And the kid gets picked up. Yeah, by who? Oh, at the other end, by their parents. By the other family. The other family? Jeez. A divorce and stuff, But good Lord. I do see now that, I was thinking about, I do recall something of that nature, but it's just like, good Lord. Everybody, were people that naive then? Today, just, no, absolutely not. Don't worry, the flight crew. Well, I don't know who they are. It's just, because this is just some little girl. She's just sitting there, so it was a thing. It's not like they were inaccurate in the movie, but geez Louise. So fortunately that no one does that anymore. I would not recommend that. Somebody's got to go with the child. Oh yeah, Alexandria. I'm already on to this one. Yes, I will be doing Kingdom of the Spiders, starring William Shatner. And there's another one, horror movie that he's in, The Devil's Reign, I believe, with Ernest Borgnine. I did see that one a long time ago. I was very young, and it was like late at night on TV. I only remember bits and pieces of it. So, that'll be interesting to check that one out, too. But anyway, Kingdom of the Spiders, next in the hopper. Yeah. More than likely, I'll see that before I ever take a look at Mandalorian and Grogu. Buddy Ebsen says, Wes Cagle, well, doggies. Yeah. Now, look, he had other roles. He was Barnaby Jones, So in between Barnaby Jones, he did TV movies like The Horror at 37,000 Feet. Wes Cagle says, Nodak responds to Wes Cagle saying, I'm guessing liability insurance risk put an end to that. The risk of a kid on a plane scraping their knee or bumping their head while in the care of the flight attendants is too high. Yeah, that's probably what did it, but I would have other concerns. Scraped knee, that's nothing. Nodak says, why is that tweet pinned on the bottom of the left screen? Oh, that Ray Schneider's, I don't always get to talk with him, and and that sort of thought it was cool that he showed up, so I thought I'd put it on there while I was in between looking at crap, hoping that it'll work or not and all that. So hopefully, you can hear me. Everything's going smoothly this time. Next time I use EVMux, probably won't work at all. Hey, what do you do? Oh, Sailor Jupiter. That's Sailor Jupiter. So, but her suit was wasn't it like green or something? Is that the deal? What does green have to do with Jupiter? It's kind of yellow and orange, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. That's her deal. She's, I guess Brittany's a fan of Sailor Jupiter. I don't know. Wes Cagle responds, most likely to know that. Yeah, I'm sure that, yeah. Usually when it comes to liability, good Lord, you can imagine the liability if somebody kidnaps the child. And they're like, oh, well, the guy said he was her uncle, and the flight attendants saying, oh, yeah, well, Pan Am's going to get sued. They had Pan Am back then. Not anymore. Nodex says, gotcha. Because of Alexander says, yay, so cool. Kingdom of the Spiders, yeah. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm pretty sure I saw that one, too. There was a couple of spider movies, and maybe I got it confused with a different one. So maybe I haven't. But I do remember in the early days of Late as Fuck, Pat Dixon brought it up, and we looked at a couple of clips from it. It's pretty funny, but I'm definitely going to do it. So while looking this one up, because I remember thinking about it before, I said, hey, that was the weird thing, because they had all, like I said in the review, that there was all these airplane disasters. And then this one decided, hey, what about a haunted plane? So, it's a unique take on trouble on an airplane. And then while doing that, this other stuff came up, and I was thinking oh, yeah, William Shatner was in that Spider movie. How about Food of the Gods? Great cheesy horror. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm looking more and more at the 70s. I've done a couple of 70s movies, crime movies, and, of course, I rewatched Godfather and all that. But the horror movies, looking a lot into that. It kind of started out, I think it was like Spielberg's early films. I did Duel, which was really great. And then there was another TV movie he did that was called Something Evil. And I'd never seen it before. So I said, oh. So I checked it out. It's Duel is a masterpiece compared to that. And it is. Duel's a great film. But this Something Evil movie, I don't know. It just wasn't that great, But I started thinking, I want to look at this. And I think I keep being drawn more to horror films than any other genre on these, even though there's, tons of stuff It came out of the 70s. So probably going to be doing a lot more of that, you know. So, but thanks to Shatner, yeah, I think. But Food of the Gods, that's a good one too. Yeah, I mean, you know. But yeah, I can consider that on the list. Alexandria Grays. West Cagle says, yeah, Buddy was also Georgie Russell in the Davy Crockett films with Fess Parker. Yeah, I didn't see a lot of those. I remember the show, and I saw a couple of episodes, but really didn't get into, you know, Davy Crockett. Jaunty K1. Chrissy did nothing wrong. Well, yeah, I mean, to deserve all this, and that's the thing. I still don't know the whole thing. If Brittany had some sort of, I don't know if did her channel get threatened by a quartering? Did he strike her channel or flag it or what have you? If that's the case, I could certainly understand this reaction. But to just be upset because Chrissy didn't bring her on the show or wasn't truthful in what she knew, you know, when did Chrissy know and when did she know it? Well, she can't feign ignorance over the whole story. She really can't do that. She was on a live stream before she did this Melanie Mac show, and so she knew a good bit, or at least the total parameters of what the situation was. And, you know, it seemed to be wanting to, hey, I don't want to burn bridges with the quartering just yet, you know, or something of that nature. Just the suspicion as to what would be the motivation to that. But that's about it. I mean, the main problem goes back to what the quartering is supposed to have done and what's going on with him. She doesn't have any control over that. So it blew up a lot more than I would have thought it would. But, you know, I'm not really involved in it, but other people are. And but a lot of this, like, again, I'm biased against Brittany. She seems to be milking this for as much as she possibly can. So then she goes on about Chrissy's past endeavors and adventures and whatnot. And that's another thing about that. I mean, this was more about Chrissy's own personal behavior, but the aspects of her shows and whatnot, and Wet Spot, and having all these associations with porn stars and the like. And I don't recall Brittany having any criticism then, when this was blatantly open and out, you know, and all that. Lately, she says she's converted to Catholicism and whatnot. Okay, fine. But some of that stuff, you're not going to, at least not on that level, to be able to continue like that. And some of the imagery she used for Simpcast, I was like, yeah, Chrissy, don't do that. You know, what was it, tits out for Jesus or something? I was like, no. I mean, that's not going to cut it. But other than that, as far as the quartering business and all that, if something of this directly involved Brittany rather than the channels that did suffer under this guy, I'm really not getting the emotion or the big angry reaction to it. But whatever, I think that friendship is over. So what are you going to do? Matthew Weagle, 223. I watched Bloodbath at the House of Death this week. That was a trip. Bloodbath at the House of Death. So the title is Bloodbath at the House of Death. I'm not familiar, because I'm thinking, like, is that the name of the theater? Come see Bloodbath at the House of Death. Like a movie theater that only plays horror movies? Yeah, but I'm guessing that's the title. Bloodbath at the House of Death. Alexander says, hi, Alexander, Empire of the Ants. That's it. I've seen that one. Yeah, Joan Collins. Yeah, that one's it's pretty good too. Everybody's saying hi. Vincent Price was in 1984? Really? Holy crap. Huh. I mean, it's been a while. I mean, I saw the one with John Hurt. Was he in that? I don't recall him being in that. Oh, well. Been a while. Oh. No, he says. Oh, I guess I got it wrong. But anyway, all right. Now I got to draw. The Bloodbath movie is from the year 19... Oh, okay. Bloodbath. So it's like a really creepy, bloody adaptation of Orwell, right? Yes. So Bloodbath at the House of Death from 1984. All right, there we go. Thank God we've figured that one out. All right, let me move my mic forward so I can get closer to my drawing pad and try to actually see what I'm doing. When it comes to drawing, you really need to be able to see what you're doing. So if everything is set up the way I wanted it to be, oh, wait, yeah, damn it. Well, this will work. Oh, I know what I don't need to draw Supergirl, but this video will be about Supergirl shooting her mouth off and ruining their chances for a movie, which were pretty low to begin with. But do I want to draw that? I think I need to draw a picture of baby Yoda, Grogu, because I did a cartoon image of the Mandalorian, but not of Grogu. I was stunned that in my files I hadn't done it yet. So now that the whole hoopla over that character is pretty much over at this point, I guess I will do one. Tony Stark, I'm not an artist. Leaving a like and love. Why, thank you. Thank you, Tony Stark. Loved your work in the Avengers. Wait a minute. Matthew Weagle says, wait, hit the wrong thing. I'm just trying to read it. Sorry, my fault for communicating in fragments. Don't worry about it. It's fine. So, yes, might as well show. See, Tony Stark was here, CEO of Stark Industries. Look, if you're, short on time and you need to get to work fast, those Iron Man suits will get you there pretty fast. I mean, it's going to set you back a bit, but I don't know, go to the bank, see what they can do. And, check out Stark Industries. All right. Nodak says, I hate communicating. Well, I know, but how are you going to place an order for the stuff you want to eat, Yeah. Oh, in fragments. Yeah, I guess so. If you order, I want a burger, and then you call them again with fries, and then and a medium Coke, that kind of thing. The guy's like, God, couldn't you have thought of that originally? You can imagine. And then you're sitting there on the other end. You can't help but think that that's the objective. But anyway, all right, let me play the Supergirl video. Nobody really wants to hear it or watch it, but I did all this work, and I need to concentrate on the drawing. It's something. What's the other reason of calling this Nailsin Ratings Live? I don't think there is one. Anyway, here's the video. And, of course, all these will be put out individually. Although, I'm thinking these DC ones, I'm just going to put them all together because they're kind of short alone. Anyway, here's Supergirl. Oh, wait, you got to do the transition. Supergirl, backlash is real. Fan interest drops in the latest tracking. So, I don't know, about a week ago or maybe a little longer than that, it was showing some actual interest in it. But it was just in comparison to other films that aren't tracking so great, this summer. And so I was like, oh, well, maybe there's a little light at the end of the tunnel for the movie, not for what it really needs to do for the overall DCU, but for itself. Maybe it was good enough and all that. And then Millie had to open her mouth. So the latest numbers from the quorum shared via Puck News, that's with a B, have Supergirl holding at 53% awareness. But interest has now dropped 2 points from 48 to 46. Well, it's only 2 points. Quorum tracks movie awareness and interest through audience surveys, giving an early look at which upcoming films people know about and want to see. The awareness numbers staying flat is not the worst news for DC Studios and Warner Brothers, but the interest drop is where things get interesting, especially with Supergirl now about a month away from release. Yeah, you kind of want to see it increase. You don't want to see it drop. Supergirl previously looked to be in decent shape compared to Mortal Kombat number 2. The earlier tracking had Supergirl at 53 awareness and 48 interest, which put it ahead of Mortal Kombat 2's 48 awareness and in line with its 48 interest just before release. Now, Supergirl's awareness is still at 53, but interest, what matters, has slipped to 46. Mortal Kombat number 2 has massively underperformed at the box office, and now it may not even hit $200 million worldwide, which is a complete disaster. The movie's tracking also softened as release approached, which ultimately matched what happened in theaters. So it's a pretty good metric about what's about to happen to Supergirl. You can see why she's upset. So the drop follows the recent backlash surrounding Millie Alcock's comments about fans. Alcock previously drew heat for comments about fans, trolls, and online criticism, with some fans taking her remarks as another example of a Hollywood star attacking the audience before a movie's released. Yeah, no. Similar to Brie Larson and Rachel Ziegler. Don't go full Ziegler. DC Studios co-head Peter Safran also came out publicly in support of Alcock, because what's he going to do? He's their Supergirl. It's too late now, you know. For DC Studios, the public support makes sense internally. Alcock is the star of the movie, and the studio is not going to throw her under the bus a month before release. Yeah, because they're stuck. From the outside, though, it's not a great look when the movie is already dealing with fan pushback, and interest is now moving in the wrong direction. The movie opens June 26, which gives DC Studios and Warner Brothers about a month to build interest and get the marketing moving in a better direction. Recent promos seem to be leaning more on David Cornsweat's Superman and Jason Momoa's Lobo, which might be the right move. It is, but is it enough? It's a Supergirl movie. It ain't a Superman Lobo movie. Now, that might have been a better, they probably should have done. Anyway, Superman gives the movie a direct connection to the larger DCU, while Lobo brings in a fan-favorite character who could help sell the film to skeptical comic book fans. The problem is the movie is called Supergirl. The lead character still has to be the draw. Well, if the studio needs Superman and Lobo to do the heavy lifting, that raises questions about whether general audiences are excited about Kara herself, or really anyone else. Now, of course, Superman didn't really do that great. But that's not really on David Cornsweat or the character himself. It's everything else about the movie. It was cluttered and weird directions, especially with Jor-El. I mean, that's really the worst there. So I don't know what the hell. And are they going to address that here with Supergirl? I mean, it's the only interesting thing. But good Lord, those comments and everything. What the hell? They learn nothing. They really are stuck in a bubble. Yeah? Jeez. So, yeah, the absolute worst thing you do. Hey, what do you do to talk about the movie you're in when you're obligated to promote it? Say, hey, we worked really hard on it. It's a lot of fun. It's a great adventure story, and I hope you'll come see it, and I hope you enjoy it. The end. That's all you got to do. No. Well, that's too bad. Supergirl backlash is real. Fan interest. All right, there you go. Supergirl can't keep her stupid mouth shut. I want to seem smart, so I'm going to giggle and talk to some idiot reporter who thinks the same crap, and end up. I think she literally said, if we're pissing off the right people, then I think we're doing something right, that kind of thing. Like the bulk of the potential movie-going market. Hey, we're pissing them off, right? Yeah, you are. Yeah. So, well, anyway, we'll see how that goes, won't we? Yes, we will. Yes. Everybody's saying hi to everybody. John TK1 says she wasn't talking to the shithead quartering. She was talking to a guest on her show about what she wanted to know. Just because the chat says dance, monkey, dance. She doesn't have to. Well, all right then, but you see the results, It's just, and she, look, I'd be 100% on that if she said, I don't want to talk about that. But then hey, look, I didn't really know about it and all that. Now, a lot of it, you put it on that Melanie Mac, I believe at one point said, it's just a bunch of nonsense. It's lies or something of that nature, which is a response. I mean, the one you like, but then that would be, her response. You can leave it up to the guest. If your guest doesn't want to talk about it, it's like, well, guest doesn't want to talk about it. But it's not exactly how that unfolded. So it's a problem, but I don't know. Is it this big of a problem that it has to be scorched earth on Chrissy? Not to me, but I got my own problems with her, but not this, because I mean, I don't see any narrative where she's responsible for the quartering, Anyway, Alexandria, do you think Supergirl's hair looks like that because combs keep breaking in her superhero? That's a good point. That might be a thing. No wonder she's so pissed. I mean, she lost her, whole family and her planet and all that stuff. And now some asshole's poisoning her dog. So you can understand why she's pissed off and everything. But at the same time, she can't comb her hair. She's stuck with that matted crap, and she's like, because, she's a girl, she wants to be pretty. And she can't comb it. It's sad. Oh, crap. Okay, hang on. I got to dance. Damn it. See, I can do the little... see, that's my legs. Do, dancing on Grogu. Dancing on doing the Grogu head dance. Do. There. Oh, jeez. Now, where my money? Where my money? Anyway, there we go. Oh, wait, I got an email. Let me see. Who's this? No. That's not relevant. Not to me. Not to now. I suppose I could do him like this. I don't know. Here. He's actually got, like, his eyes are, like, completely black. Is he possessed or something? Because Yoda, he had normal-looking eyes. I don't know. Now, there's this theory that Yoda's the daddy. Because it was brief, but there was this female Yoda-looking chick in the prequels. And, they figure, hey, Yoda hit that, he tapped that little green ass. And then, lo and behold, she, had this baby, and they're like, oh, well, I guess we'll train him in the Force and stuff. Even though they were telling them, hey, guys, you can't get married and have girlfriends and stuff. You got to be dedicated to the Jedi. It would have been a big scandal, you know. There's Yoda banging. He's like, look, there's only a few of us left. It's my duty to hit booty and produce, you know, little Grogu's. And then I don't know what the deal is with Grogu, that he was so traumatized by Order 66 that he became mute, you know. But now all he cares about is eating cookies and potato chips and stuff. And he likes the Mandalorian, you know. It's like the daddy he never had. Yoda, you know, split and lived in a swamp planet and then died. I mean, I suppose maybe he thought his kid was dead, or he just didn't even know about it. Like, what's her name? What the hell was her name? Was it Yabetta? You better pay your child support, Obi-Wan. I mean, Yoda, Obi-Wan. Yeah, apparently that was one of the theories too, that Obi-Wan had a kid like Rey was his kid, or maybe grandkid, something like that, because he banged that chick from the cartoons. So, you know, boy, you know, Anakin's got a lot to be pissed off about, because they were like, oh, you can't get married, Anakin. You're a Jedi Knight. You'll be thrown out of the Jedi Order if you know, do that. So he has to do it in secret, you know. So then it's like all the crap that's going on, you know, he had to keep it all secret because he's like, I'm really worried about Padme. I keep having nightmares she's going to die. But he doesn't really come for. He talks to Yoda about it, kind of, but not completely. But it was all above board and stuff. He could have, you know, had taken counsel from Obi-Wan and the like. He says, I don't know, man. I'm having these nightmares about her. It's just like when my mommy died. And they're like, oh, no, Anakin. Oh, perhaps we should look further into this. And they would have figured out it was Palpatine, you know, screwing with his head and stuff. And they could just chop his head off with a lightsaber. And there you go. The galaxy is saved. But, well, and they had to keep the marriage secret, you know. As if, you know, that's the one thing. It's like, well, the dark side of the Force clouded the minds of the Jedi, so they didn't realize their own Chancellor was the leader of the Sith. He's the one we've been looking for, and all that, you know. It's like, oh my God, that's embarrassing. And then, but then they also, it's like, it's so damned obvious who got Padme pregnant, you know. I mean, you know, they try to, oh, wait, let's go kiss and make out, you know, behind this column so no one will notice. It's like, no, they're going to know. You know, but they're like, well, let's just mind our own business and not look at that. So it's like, well, then what's the rule for? You know, so obviously it's just, well, we all know we're getting some on the side. We're not supposed to, but... So maybe that's why they weren't really the greatest Jedi who ever lived at that point. They had gotten lazy and corrupt and, you know, kind of arrogant and whatnot, and didn't really pay attention to what the danger was. And then it was too late. So maybe it's something like that, you know, just not all that well spelled out. I don't know. John T says, you're right about Chrissy and all that stuff. Yeah, I think so. And Michael Wiggle says, Kai 80 Mundi was allowed to marry and reproduce due to the rarity of his species. The female Yoda was Yaddle. Yaddle, that's the deal. Frankie 5 Angels wants to let us all know. Well, he says, I farted. So... Not me, Frankie. Anyway, well, you know, these things happen. You might want to open a window. Air freshener can help. That kind of thing. Other than that, as long as you're not, just don't do that in the elevator with, you know, others. I mean, sometimes you'll get in there, you're by yourself, and you're like, man, I really got to let this one rip. And you do. Guess what? Door opens, somebody walks. It's always, you know, probably one of the hottest chicks you've ever seen. You're like, oh, no. And damn it, you know. That's what he was, the big four. The four, yeah. Isn't his species like related or the same as Darth Plagueis was supposed to be? Or is that someone else entirely? The Mund or something? Anyways, the big forehead got on the council. My stream just crashed. Oh no. Oh, now it's working again. I guess it happens. I mean, was it mine? Did mine just blip out? Am I still here? Normally it'll show me this thing and say, you're not, to one of the ones. I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, I'm on X and Rumble. But they're all saying, you're still there. I guess I'll check YouTube. Now, roll the worm. Yeah, it looks like it's still going. I'll hit live. And yep, still there. All right. Well, I hope everything works out. He's Syrian, like the big forehead guy. Yeah, he had a goatee and everything, right? I have no idea if it was on my end or yours, LOL. Yeah, I guess whatever it was brief. So there's that. So I guess we got to count our blessings where we get them. All right, there's the the Grogu drawing. I will fit that in with my Mando thing. And I don't know. I had a chance to go see it, and I just I don't want to. So I didn't. I apologize. I probably should have gone and seen that Obsession movie. That's probably effing cool. Maybe not. Turns out I did a video on that too, but I don't have it in my order as of next, so why did I even mention it? Well, just because it was at the theater, but I didn't go. And I was like, I'm tired. I'm going to fall asleep in there and all that, and I don't want to. So, yeah. Anyway, here's a video about some guy who wants to play Batman. And who can blame him? But if he can't have Batman, he wants Wolverine. Jesse Hutch wants Batman or Wolverine role after almost playing Superman. Oh, yeah? All right. Jesse Hutch says he once came close to playing Superman, and now he's throwing his name out there for Batman or Wolverine. The actor revealed he screen tested for Superman Returns back in 2005, sharing, well, you kind of dodged the bullet there, back in 2005, sharing old audition footage of himself as both Clark Kent and Superman. Brandon Routh went on to land the role in the Bryan Singer directed movie, but Hutch says it was down to only a couple of actors. I think Cavill auditioned for that one too. Now Hutch is saying that while the Superman ship has sailed, he's ready if DC or Marvel comes calling. So he's a lot older now, but I don't know. If Affleck doesn't want to come back as Batman, maybe this guy could do it for, I don't know, Dark Knight Returns, or if Snyder really does get a shot at Justice League again. Anyway, in his post, Hutch said he screen tested for Superman Returns. I screen tested for the Superman role. That means it was down to a couple dudes. Some boats have sailed, but I hear they may be looking for a new Batman and Wolverine. Call me, I'm in. If James Gunn's The Brave and the Bold happens, DC Studios will need a new Batman for the DCU. Robert Pattinson's Batman exists in Matt Reeves' separate Elseworlds universe, while the DCU Batman has yet to be cast. So there again, he wants to do this father and son story. So, he could play an older Bruce Wayne who already has a son who's capable of being Robin. And there you go. You're kind of already there. So it doesn't matter that he's much older than he was when they were looking at him for Superman, years ago. So anyway, Hutch is known for When Hope Calls. Never saw it. Crossroads Springs. Never saw it. Blue Ridge, the series. Never saw it. Homestead, the series. Never saw it. And Have We Met This Christmas. Never saw it. He also has a DC connection, having played Agent Russell Tavaroff in the CW's Batwoman. Well, I mean, I saw a couple of those. Maybe he was in those episodes. I don't know. But, oh yeah, there he is. Back in that bygone era we commonly refer to as the day. So anyway, before mentioning Batman and Wolverine, Hutch revealed he came close to... You're saying that what's going on with these articles? They keep repeating the same thing. Hey, come on. Yeah, I Superman Returns, and I was that close. He also said he had to speak with Bryan Singer by phone before filming the audition. I had to call Bryan Singer on the phone, Hutch says, explaining Singer led me through what he needed. Hutch also wrote that he hadn't heard anything about the audition for over 6 months and thought Matt Damon had booked the role. In fact, I heard Matt Damon booked it, Hutch wrote, tagging Damon and asking, is that true? The role ultimately went to Brandon Routh, who played Superman and Clark Kent. Wow, 2 roles in the 2006 movie. So, yeah, Brandon. But it was a crappy movie, not because Brandon Routh was cast. They probably could have done a pretty good Superman, but it was a stupid movie, so, you know, what are you going to do? Anyway, Superman was released 2006, blah, 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 blah. He's got everybody there. So, there you go, but it could have been this Hutch guy, but it, you know, I don't know, it didn't work out that way. So now, he's like, yeah, I'll do Batman or Wolverine. Something. So who knows? Maybe it'll happen. These characters need to get recast all the time because time never stops. So, yeah, I don't know. A lot of times these people announce they're interested in a role. Pretty much immediately means they're not getting it. Yeah. But I don't know enough about the guy to say, oh my God, this is so wrong and terrible. Maybe not. So, well, you know, good luck. Oh, that's why that song was playing. Jeez, I forgot all that. Anyway, there you go. It's just some article about a guy because that's left in the open. If the DCU continues, which that's becoming increasingly dubious at this point, then you know they'll have to cast a new Batman. The other problem is they already have a Batman. They just won't include him in their DCU for, you know, reasons here and there. And, well, that increases because at the time when they started this, they figured, oh, well, he'll probably be wrapping up his trilogy by the time we get to it. Well, it took a lot longer to get the second one off the ground, plus the fact that it really didn't do that great at the movies. But the Penguin show was really, it was excellent. And I think it breathed a whole lot more life into the Batman franchise. And if the second movie's on par with what the quality that show had, well, then they really got something. So then, all this time later, let's say Batman 2 is a smash hit and hits $1 billion and all that sort of stuff. You got to have a third one now, even though it's this late in the hour for your new DC franchise and all that stuff. But it would have been interesting if the DCU struck gold, you know, and hit a grand slam. It needed to hit a grand slam. One can argue how unfair that is for a new entity to take off, but that's the position Warner Brothers was in. They were betting on that. It didn't. Superman did not hit a grand slam. Don't care what anyone says, but that's what it needed to do. And so now they're building this DCU. They have a potential successful Batman franchise, and but they can't include it. They can't, So how are you going to do a DC shared universe with no Batman? You're not. So it's just weird how things like that keep occurring, where they get in these fixes. When, regardless of what Matt Reeves says or anyone else, I guess they should have just folded them into the same thing and said, "Oh, we'll build a shared universe out of the Batman or something." I don't know, and they probably would have forced it if the Batman had performed stronger, and they would have said, "No, that's it. Everything's going to go." And then I don't know, Matt Reeves would be running everything, but that didn't happen either. So it's kind of like stuck in the middle where, well, these films stunk and they sucked and they bombed and all that. And then a couple of others, well, they didn't exactly bomb, but they weren't all that great either. And so, well, what do you do? And that's kind of where they are. What? No, next is my Spidey sense is tingling. Must mean there is a super tip nearby. Oh, come on. What's the likelihood? Oh, good Lord. There it is. All right. Well, actually, Haley's was from 4 days ago. Sorry, Haley. Oh, boy, do I owe her big time. All right. Let's see here. Let's take a look. It's an image tip. That's one of the options you had with super. Good Lord. Ah, crap, I'm going to have this one framed. Yeah, because as you know from Kevin Brennan, and who's going to question Kevin Brennan, I am a gas station. Only on the weekends, though. And so there you go. That's what happens. Some people turn into a pumpkin after midnight, but me, I turn into a gas station. That's what happens. Says, thanks for dancing. Here's a fun image of you in the wild, Doug in his true form. No, it's just a job. And it's like, listen, you sure you want this gig? Sure, why not? Well, you're going to turn into the gas station. You mean I'm going to work at the gas station? No. You will turn into the gas station. Oh. I mean, it's a little rough at first, but after a while you get used to it, Weird pair of shoes, though. It's like clown shoes, But look at that. It's like I tower over all of the people. They're like ants. And you can see the swamp of Louisiana in the background. It's great, isn't it? And oh, boy, the parking lot. Look at that. Oil stains all over the place. That reminds me. We got this stuff you put on it. It's supposed to clear it up. It does for a while, It's like, boy, check out that tie, though. It's a waterfall tie. That's awesome. Damn. Anyway, there you go. There is the Doug Nailsin, the gas station. Yep. That's what I do on the weekends for a little extra cash, Well, there's the cows, of course, and the property. But then there's also super tip. And here, another $5 from the great Nodak, who always reminds you to hit that like button. And he's right. You should do that. But I do appreciate it, Nodak. Thank you very much for the super tip. And what am I going to do? Argue the point? I can't. I'm a gas station. Not right now. I'm just some guy sitting in the chair drawing Batman. But, yeah, on the weekends. That's pretty much the deal. Yeah, don't feel bad about it. No one else does. Just, get your gas, your potato chips, your beer, and be on your way, okay? I just, we don't have to talk about it. It's like, my God, you're a gas station. I know. Just, try not to think about it. I don't. Not anymore. So, that's that's the protocol for us guys who become gas stations. So, it's a living. Yeah. Nodex says, I enjoyed the pumpkin and crawfish pies sign behind you. Oh, really? I got to take a look at that. Let me see here. Pumpkin. Oh, yeah. Maybe that is something we should think about. I should put that in the store. We used to have this roller grill thing, we call it, and it would have these sausages on it, hot dogs, and I don't know, it was a bunch of other stuff. I don't even know. They were all tasty and everything. And then COVID hit, and they thought, oh, we can't have that. I don't know. You're gonna catch COVID from a sausage. Anyway, and then we had the massive hurricane 2020. Oh boy, that's a year no one will forget soon. Well, I guess some have, but I won't. But anyway, after that, it was taken down, and it never came back. So now there was really not a whole lot. There was these. We used to have this cooler that had these microwavable hamburgers in them. They weren't bad. They were pretty good. Some of them were like sloppy joes and stuff. And a couple of times, I was like, geez, I'm about to pass out. I mean, oh crap, I'm diabetic. I better eat something. And I would just grab one of those, shove it in there. And it was, it was all right. But then the company that supplied that, it was their cooler and everything. They had this brainstorm that, hey, we can become an online business and people would order our stuff direct from us. I think they folded pretty quick after that. So it didn't work out. And therefore there was, I would have thought there was some other supplier for that kind of thing. You'll see stuff like that around in stores and everything, but I don't know. That was it for that. So for a while there was nothing. So now we thought, hey, there's a deli. They could provide sandwiches. And so we have sandwiches in there. Ham and cheese, of course. There's roast beef. What's the other one? Can't remember. Anyway, it's got its own little, not a total cooler, but it's like really cold inside it, but it's like open. But it's nice. And it's popular. At least they get that, and they appreciate it. So sandwiches at the Doug Nelson gas station. Yeah. Well, somebody else has to be the gas station tonight, and good luck. But when the weekend strikes, I will transform into a gas station again. And but it's all in the service of the people. And you got to remember that. You got to always be aware of that. And the important service that all my gas provides. Yeah. Makes the world go around. All right. What's the next video? Oh, yeah. So speaking of Batman, there's a confirmation for the Batman #2. It's no surprise, but here it is. What's this? Sebastian Stan confirms Harvey Dent turns into Two-Face in the Batman Part #2. So I guess the only thing remains is, does it happen like at the end of the movie? Might be. Because I kind of wondered if they were setting him up to be like the third act villain or something like that. But anyway, Sebastian Stan is opening up about joining the Batman Part #2. And it sounds like Harvey Dent's Two-Face turn is coming in Matt Reeves' sequel. Speaking with Deadline, Stan said he will soon be heading to London over for the summer for Reeves' The Batman Part #2, where he'll play many roles in this one. What? Stan is referring to Harvey Dent, Gotham's crime-fighting district attorney, who later becomes Two-Face after Sal Boss Maroni throws acid in his face, scarring one side and sending him into madness. Oh my God, there he is. He's in makeup and everything. All right. Well, it's probably fan stuff, you know. Wait. Previously posted by the stylist Sebastian Stan. Good Lord. Could it be? I don't know. So Stan told Deadline he is excited and nervous about the role as he prepares to enter Reeves' Batman universe. I'm excited, I'm nervous, and trying to keep surprising myself, Stan said of taking on Two-Face. The actor also mentioned working with the hair and makeup teams who have already devised how Harvey Dent's disfigurement will look in the movie. You mean this? That confirms Reeves isn't only introducing Harvey Dent as Gotham's district attorney. The movie will also be dealing with his transformation into Two-Face. So there you go. You know, will it look like that? It might. Anyway, Harvey Dent is one of Batman's most important villains, usually starting as an ally in Gotham's war on crime before becoming one of the city's most tragic monsters. In the comics and previous adaptations, Dent is Gotham's district attorney. Yeah, you already said that. And works against organized crime. Yeah, you said that too. His life changes after, the whole thing. Dent later becomes Two-Face, a villain obsessed with chance, duality, and his signature coin flip. Stan's many roles comments points directly to that split between Harvey Dent and Two-Face, which fits the psychological crime drama tones Reeves built with the Batman. Well, he only posed as doing that. It's not a good movie. Hopefully this one will be good. But he said many roles. Sounds like only two in one man. What else could this mean? Anyway, hey, he was Bucky. Yeah, he was. Not anymore. The Batman Part Number 2 also marks Stan's first major move into Warner Brothers' Batman world after years in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Stan is best known to comic book movie fans as Bucky Barnes and all that good stuff. And then, did Winter Soldier, which was the best film they did. Then Falcon and the Winter Soldier was terrible. Thunderbolts, for what it was, wasn't too bad. Anyway, now he's moving from Marvel to DC with one of Batman's most iconic villains. So, yeah, maybe that's the rule of thumb. If you played a superhero in Marvel, you can only play villains in DC. Yeah. Anyway, Matt Reeves has been confirming the Batman Part Number 2 cast through his posts on X. Reeves has confirmed returning players Jeffrey Wright, Andy Serkis, Colin Farrell, and Gil Perez-Abraham as Officer Martinez. He's also confirmed new additions. Scarlett Johansson. Sebastian Stan Charles Dance. Johansson is said to be playing Gilda Dent. Stan, of course, Harvey Dent and Dance. See, the whole family. He's married to Gilda, and his dad is played by Charles Dance. So how about that, huh? Reeves also announced Sebastian Koch is in an undisclosed role, while Brian Tyree Henry has joined the cast. So then you got to wonder, well, which one are they? And there's still lingering rumors that Mr. Freeze will show up. One of them could be that guy. Maybe they involve the Court of Owls and all that stuff. Oh, yeah, Robert Pattinson's back, too. The update comes as the Batman Part Number 2 has started moving forward. Recent set images and video surfaced from Liverpool showing Gotham police vehicles filming near Queensway Tunnel. So, yeah, Batmobile and all that stuff. So, there you go. There's no doubt about it. He's Harvey Dent and Two-Face. Yeah, they're one and the same. You didn't know that? Oh, well, I spoiled that one. Whoops. Yeah, we don't need to hear the song anymore. We really don't. So there you go. You're all caught up on Batman and Harvey Dent, which, it had leaked some time ago, but he went ahead and confirmed it. So anyway, well, Us people that work nights appreciate there is something open when we get off work. Says no day. Yeah, I do too, except in my area, the 24/7 whole thing just ended again after COVID and the storms. And so there's virtually nothing. There's my store, there's a couple of others spread out. It's terrible. But I think they all followed suit once the local Walmart Supercenter said, yeah, you know what? We're not doing that no more. And apparently, once the lockdowns happened, they said, hey, you know what? We were losing a lot of money to shoplifting. And they decided, we can do a lot better. We're just not doing that anymore. And that was that. So, yeah, it sucks, but I can understand the cold-hearted business move, because if you're not making any money, you're not in business. And when you're not in business, well, there's nothing there. Oh, no. Yeah, that's it. You can't pay the light bill anymore. How are you going to keep that store open? You're not. That's like these idiots who don't understand why CVS and Walgreens is, well, we got to leave your city because, you keep stealing from us. No, you can't leave. Yeah, they can. Because, they can't afford to stay there. That's not true. You're lying. They just cry and rant and rave and then go burn down the abandoned property, So, yeah, knock yourselves out. Doesn't matter anymore. And we'll never figure out what happened. And that's just the mayor and the city council and stuff. It's not just the dumb people, because the dumb people got elected to it too. I don't know. So yeah, you got to actually make money. Yeah, you do. Why does everything have to be about money? Well, will you work for free? No, that's slavery. Well, then, all right then. Huh? Yeah. See, even that doesn't come across. It's strange. But what are you going to do? Oh, I know. You're going to leave. That's what you're going to do. You got to go to some of these red states. That's where you go, where business is at least understood. Yep. That's how that works. I guess that's like a Pattinson Batman. I don't know. All right. Well, that's it for DC. You got those. Supergirl, has a star that likes, I wouldn't say full Zegler. I mean, Zegler really went off the deep end, even though the whole promo of the movie was in line with what she was saying. So it was kind of like they told her to go out there and do it. But she was the face of the movie, so she gets the crap. But she really didn't help herself because she's doubled down since, and it's all really stupid. And, oh, well, that's it for her. For Supergirl, well, it's this crap. And it's going to stick to a degree, and also because, Zegler and Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, stuff like that. And so there's, it has more staying power on it, even if she, from now on, kind of shuts her mouth. But it's our only bet is to shut up. And maybe someday, somehow, someone will figure it out. It's just, all I have to do is just ask people to come see the movie and talk about the movie and why it's good and stuff like that. Because, I did do the movie, so I ought to know something about it, and that kind of thing. But, well, as far as who's going to be Batman, again, if there is a DCU past the Man of Tomorrow movie, and that's a big if, then, yeah, there's hope for any of these actors who want a shot at that. I don't know about Wolverine, but I assume there's going to be the MCU is hoping to restart their whole franchise with a new X-Men movie and stuff. So, they'll have a Wolverine at some point. Hugh Jackman can't do it forever. So, what becomes of that? We'll see. But, that's the deal there. So, and then Sebastian Stan is Two-Face. We'll see. Yeah. And like again, if this sequel is on par with that Penguin series, then that's one of the options DC has. Since the DCU is a failure, okay, we'll just suddenly default to the Batman movies, provided they bring the goods. So then you got that. So they got seemingly a potential option here, but it's got to perform. If it does, all right then. So anyway, good luck on that. But, there are other people doing far worse. And that's the likes of poor, stupid Dr. Oh, wait, I got another comment here. Matthew Weagle. Is anyone else wearing headphones? I swear I hear something dripping. Dripping? Let me hear. Listen. Yeah, I'm not hearing it. Weird. I don't know. Is it like a ghost taking the leak in your house? I mean, that could be scary. Nodex says, I don't hear any dripping. Maybe you're hearing Doug's waterfall tie. I got to get that waterfall tie. It's just everywhere I go is like, is Doug just pissing everywhere? That's what it sounds like. That's disgusting. Yeah, I guess I probably should. And I'll probably get arrested if I wear that tie, Anyway, poor Doctor Who. How bad can you be? Well, at least DC is not quite in the state that Doctor Who is in. And even Marvel, not quite. Star Wars, kind of, yeah. But poor Doctor Who just has been beaten and assaulted, which is kind of the same thing. Well, I could say all kinds of things happened to Doctor Who that I shouldn't say while broadcasting. But all of it happened. And now they've promised this Christmas special. So they're going to do one more show, a Christmas special. But there's a problem. So I did a video on that for you, the people. Doctor Who Christmas special rumored to be in trouble as BBC struggles to find new star. Well, I wonder why that would be. Nobody wants to play Doctor Who anymore. Rumors claim the Doctor Who Christmas special could be in trouble with the BBC reportedly struggling to find a new actor to take over the TARDIS after Ncuti Gatwa's exit. The report comes after DP dropped its big budget partnership with the BBC. Yeah, that's been some time ago. They should have figured something out by now, leaving the sci-fi series in limbo following Gatwa's 2-season run. Yeah. And I wonder if they say, hey, could you just do one more special? No, I want out. I got to think about my career, So according to The Sun, grain of salt and all that, the planned 2026 Doctor Who Christmas special is now hanging in the balance because BBC bosses have not locked down a new doctor. The outlet claims that the BBC has been trying to find an actor to take on the role of the 16th Time Lord, but the part is no longer seen as the easy career win it once was. Now, it's interesting. The 16th. Well, that's supposed to be her. But, last I looked in on any Doctor Who news, was apparently she's not available. She's busy on something else. And so is David Tennant. So, they thought, the obvious thing would be to reunite them and that sort of thing. And people speculate, they'll make out and become one doctor again. Weird. Ew. Because they're supposed to be the same. I don't know. The whole thing, just how much more can you mess it up after Timeless Child and Russell T. Davies found a way? Good Lord, is it so screwed up. But, the only follow-up would be, well, she's got to be in it, huh? Yeah, huh? And no, apparently not. So it's in the 16th Doctor. Well, that would be her. Unless, of course, no, she's actually the second Doctor of Dr. Jr. Because really, David Tennant's still the Doctor, and Ncuti Gatwa was like his clone. It doesn't work. Anyway, a source told, see, that's the thing. They could say, they could hire a new guy and say he's the regeneration of the 14th Doctor. And just say, hey, we don't know what happened to the other guy. Well, he turned into Rose. Whatever. I don't know. A source told the outlet that despite reassurances, Doctor Who would return with a new series. There's been no confirmation from execs about when that will happen. Yeah, there's no money. The insider also said the BBC has proudly announced the Doctor would return in this year's Christmas special. But with less than 7 months to go, that now appears uncertain. Yeah. The ball should be rolling right now. The report claims the BBC is having trouble finding anyone willing to take on the Doctor after the backlash to the most recent era. Yeah. Hey, come on in. You get to be the Doctor. Yeah. I mean, a lot of damage has already been done. So, I don't know. Maybe people would forget that you played the Doctor in some little special. Plus, it's like, what's the point? It's one special and no guarantee of a further series. So, it's like, yeah, it'll only be this one little 1 hour TV movie. Yeah. And then after all this destruction, everybody's mad. I mean, the only thing would be curiosity is like, well, what are you going to do? Yeah. But just to get somebody to come in and do that. Yeah, that is a problem. So anyway, partly because it now feels like the role comes with all the baggage of the most recent series. Well, of course. It was the last thing you saw of Doctor Who was Ncuti Gatwa turning into Billie Piper. So the Daily Mail also picked up the report to describe the once coveted Doctor Who role as a poisoned chalice. The timing is not great for the BBC. Ncuti Gatwa's run ended with the Doctor regenerating into Billie Piper, who previously played Rose Tyler. However, Piper is not believed to be taking over the role permanently. Well, you see, when they quickly announced, well, not exactly quickly, but pretty close quickly, the Christmas special, I assumed that, okay, they worked out something, and Billie Piper could play the role for a bit and then regenerate into whoever they approach to be the new Doctor. And they're going to be limited as to who that is. It would have to be something, look, I really need the work, But, I mean, it just sort of ends like that, and they don't know if there'll be a series. So then when they start up, if they get a chance to start it up again, it would be yet another actor. So then it would be, let's see, the 17th Doctor. Or no, the 18th Doctor at that point. And the other guy would have moved on or whatever. And he's like, oh, maybe Big Finish will still be around. You can revisit some of that. Anyway, the Sun's source also warned that even if the BBC does manage to put something together, the 2026 special could end up feeling lesser than previous Doctor Who Christmas specials. Well, yes. Because they're going to have to rush this thing. This is bad. I mean, unless they've managed to keep it really under wraps, which they have it for years now. Stuff would leak out all the time. Stuff they really didn't want leaked out, revealing, the master and all that type of stuff. But it would, it would come out. And for this, somebody's going to squeal. So there's nothing. There's no announcement of production, just that, there's going to be a Christmas special. So anyway, there are fears that even if they do, maybe it won't come together. It's going to be a poor cousin to previous Christmas specials, which have always been adored by fans. Yeah, not lately. Not lately. That would be another blow to the franchise. Doctor Who Christmas specials have often been treated as major TV events, especially during the David Tennant and Matt Smith eras. Now, the latest rumor suggests the BBC might not even have the actor it needs to make the next one work. Yeah. Yeah. The rumored Christmas special problems followed DP ending its involvement with Doctor Who. The Disney deal was supposed to give Doctor Who a bigger global push and a larger budget. Yeah, but the shows weren't any good, so it didn't work. Instead, the Shudigawa era failed to break through in the U.S. and did not make the Nielsen streaming charts. The series also faced fan backlash over its creative direction, including storylines involving non-binary aliens, incels, and other material that critics argued pushed the show away from the broad family adventure tone that made Doctor Who popular in the first place. Gatwa also drew backlash during press for telling detractors not to watch. Don't watch. Turn off the TV. Go and touch grass, please. For God's sake, said Gatwa in 2024. Well, a lot of fans apparently did just that. Yeah, they took his advice, so, what's the problem? So anyway, yeah, he did the UK's version of Saturday Night Live and joked about it. Yeah, I gotta admit, they were spot on, So anyway, I mean, he, at that point of getting out, he did the right thing. See, they probably would have kept him around for a Christmas special. I don't know that Disney would have bothered with it. But they could have done that. But he's like, no, man, I got to get out of here. This thing is bad. And that's the deal. Nobody wants to play Doctor Who anymore. So I wonder what happened. I wonder what happened. Yeah. So I don't know. What can they do? Do they even have a story idea to hurry up and scribble down a script for the show and all that? At least have that so they can, I don't know, find somebody to put them in there, or keep the Doctor mysterious so you don't see who it is and this type of dumb thing. Or they're just going to get past actors from the series and have them sit around a round table and talk about the good old days. It's something like that. Oh, no. Oh, jeez. All the denials and everything when it was so blatantly obvious. And you had plenty of time to right the ship at one point. It quickly ran out. And it was unavoidable that you needed to retcon the disastrous directions that the show had taken. Instead, no, you doubled down, you tripled down, you quadrupled down. And now there's nothing left. Sad, Yeah, it's too bad, but the lessons were plenty. The opportunities as well. But to no avail. They were ignored through arrogance. And, well, there you are. But I don't know. I mean, you can blame the people in charge of it, the Russell T Davies and stuff, but ultimately it's owned by the BBC, and they were fine with all that crap. So there's consequences for foolishness like that. And now, well, and they keep, it's like these things, it's like, though this is a publicly owned entity, so it's a state entity and all that, so it's even more irresponsible in a lot of ways. And the financial difficulties for the BBC now are pretty steep, pretty bad. So could be right on its, final legs with that sort of thing. But to think about something like Doctor Who, because at one time it was this massive cash cow, because an entity like Doctor Who that becomes successful through television or movies or what have you provides extra cash in merchandising. And so for a while there, there was this Doctor Who crap everywhere. And that's, oh boy, that's really great stuff. So it's beyond just what the BBC steals from their taxpaying public, and think, we don't have to worry about the quality or anything. At one time, you had professionalism and people who generally cared about the shows they produced because, well, that was the art they were, producing for a job, sure, but also the craft mattered to them and stuff. Now it's just a bunch of arrogant, spoiled brats who don't care so much about it. And if you're not kissing their ass all the time, then, you're the lowest of the low and all that. But that's not dealing with the reality of the situation. And eventually, when you go up against reality, well, it sucks to be you. And so now they no longer have this cash cow that's beloved by, millions and all that sort of stuff. So, oh no, the money dried up. So, but they keep chasing it thinking, oh, they'll come back. We'll figure it out. And everyone was telling you what was wrong. And you just called them racist, bigots, or homophobes, something. And go down the list. I mean, hell, all of it. And your product kept dying. And well, so there it is. I mean, probably their best bet would have been to fully outsource it and just cash the check that they would get. They'd still squander the money, but at least it would be making money in the hands of somebody who knows what they're doing, and just don't really care that it's just following the templates of the classic show and stuff like that, and being successful at it. And everybody's screaming that they're not being represented enough or something like that. You just ignore it because it's not a substantial audience. It doesn't really have buying power of any sort. So, you can represent them in something else, But representation was always a false narrative in a lot of ways. I mean, do you really see yourself on television or in movies? I mean, none of them movie stars look like me. Okay, except for Oliver Platt. Oh, yeah, and Henry Cavill. I mean, people see Henry Cavill, they think they're seeing me. Yeah. Come on. Nobody sees themselves in those movies. But, that became a necessary thing to the detriment of everything. And now, apparently, Christopher Nolan, who I thought had a lot more sense, because throughout the woke era, his movies just didn't really embrace any of that. He just did movies. And now the Odyssey. See, right off the bat, it was doomed when I found out that he was not basing it on the actual Odyssey, but on this feminist retelling deconstruction of it and all that sort of crap. And for some dumbass reason, thought that was impressive. It's not. It never is. And so that's problem number one. Then, of course, the casting. So, and all the excuses, which flies in the face of earlier statements and whatnot. It just, is there any chance any of it's good? I mean, he's a great director. He's got a lot of talent. He's probably the best one going for the moment. And is there any potential there? Well, the problem for that is that if you get a whiff of wokeness in your product, however unfair, it might not really be all that much to it. In this case, I think it's a done deal. It's there. But let's say you don't really have that much in there, something of that nature in your film, but the marketing is going to say it is, or something of that nature, and people suspect that it's there, the likelihood that it's dead on arrival is huge. And that's the sinister or danger of that. So, in a lot of that, it can be unfair. It's irradiated the landscape. It's going to happen to this show or that film, and that sort of thing. Whereas something like this late in the hour, you dump that on the scene. It's incredible. How can you be that stupid? But it happened, and I don't know. I just ooh. So, Nodak says they should have Roger Daltrey be the doctor for the Christmas. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Maybe he sings Christmas songs. and do it live. You know, he comes out of the TARDIS. And there you go. Roger Daltrey is the Doctor. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, Matthew Eagle, I'm glad I never had more opportunity to get into Doctor Who. I've seen like 5 episodes with 3 of the old Doctors. Good show, but wasn't on very often for me. Yeah. Well, you know, it is one of those things where it really had to capture somebody. I think other people just never got it at all. They're just like, yeah, I just can't get into this. You know, even if they were into, you know, Star Trek or something like that. It is its own thing. But the longevity of Doctor Who, that it's survived as long as it did, it depended almost entirely on charm. It had to have a certain amount of charm to it, because a lot more times than not, they had no money. The special effects were pretty lackluster, but ultimately it didn't matter, because, and if their leading man was good enough, and of course I came into it during Tom Baker's era, and that won me over immediately. And then I, you know, got to see some of the other Doctors later on, and liked those as well. But with Tom Baker, somebody like that who just really dominated the role, and he carried that show. So some of the episodes that were a little on the less side, especially some of the effects here and there, stuff like that, it didn't matter because his own charm was able to do it. And the other shows, they were charming overall in a lot of ways. By the 80s, it started to deteriorate. Some of the story ideas were still pretty strong in the concepts and whatnot, but it started, the production values were evaporating right in front of you. And then some of the other stories just didn't really come together in total. And some of the performances weren't all that great either. The Doctors they chose were interesting choices, and I think they could have worked in better situations overall. But the clock was ticking and running out. And also, I think Tom Baker's success and he stayed there for 7 years. That's longer than anybody. And it casts a very long shadow over everything. And it was hard to follow that. You know, Peter Davison probably got the best of the shows following Baker. Some of them started to, you know, not be as good. And I mean, I don't think there's any argument. He did. He got, you know, some of his are kind of goofy and weak too, but you got to expect that. But a couple of his episodes are pretty damn good. They're good Doctor Who episodes. And then Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy. And Colin Baker, that poor bastard, he got stuck with that idiot clown costume. And then a lot of the stories, and they didn't orchestrate it well. I think the idea of him playing the Doctor as an asshole, which is what he was, could have worked. Could have worked in a lot of ways. But they didn't really apply it well. And he got screwed royally. And they treated him very badly. Sylvester McCoy had the better outfit of that era, because it just looked like a normal Doctor Who outfit, you know, eccentric, but, you know, it was normal clothes. And, but a lot of those things, it was getting kind of weird and stuff, and they were trying different things. I mean, it ages a little better by comparison to the crap that you got lately. But, yeah, I wasn't a complete fan of that. But then, you know, that's it. It ran out of time. They come back and they have a few here and there. I always had problems with New Who and that sort of thing. But they had some great episodes for a while there. But of the new era of Doctor Who, Peter Capaldi was my favorite of those. But David Tennant got the best stories. Nodex says, I don't watch TV or movies. I see regular slubs. To see regular slubs like me. Yeah, I know. That's it. It's escapist fantasy, you know, especially things like Doctor Who and Star Wars and superheroes and stuff. They're idealized fantasy figures, you know. You know, it's just not the same, you know. I want to see this. I think, do you? Why? Alexandria, you should draw Grogu and the Mandalorian as Tattoo and Mr. Rourke from Fantasy Island. The X-Wing, boss. The X-Wing. My name is Shane. Is that Nancy Mace? No, that's Billy Piper. I was doing the Doctor Who video. She technically speaking, is the last actor to play Doctor Who. Yeah. For now. Matthew Weagle, I'm going to have to find those old ones and stream them. Yeah, they're around. And actually, what is it called? The Doctor Who Classic, I think, on YouTube. Now, they're all put together in one long stream, but it's like the different adventures. So all the different, because the old Doctor Who was cut up in, separate episodes that ran about 30 minutes. So they're all put together in one thing. But yeah, that's all the old ones. Pretty much, not, I don't think all of them, but a good bit of them are there. And then that's a good source. I think Peacock has a Doctor Who channel, or maybe it's Pluto. Yeah, they are, what have you. And I think Tubi has some Doctor Who episodes on there. So, stuff like that. It's available. It's around. And, yeah, there's some good stuff in there. So there you go. That's it for poor Doctor Who. Will there be a Christmas special? Will it be Roger Daltrey coming out of the TARDIS? They could do worse. I mean, in fact, that would be... they should do it. But it's looking more likely if they do anything. It's like when I said in the video, it'll probably be former cast members and stuff like that sitting around talking about the show. And going over old footage, something like that. It's probably like the TARDIS control room is sitting there, and all of a sudden, well, it couldn't be Lucille Ball, she's dead. But, some famous actor walks in. Hey, remember Doctor Who? And they just starts hosting clips. And that could be Roger Daltrey, maybe, But anyway... Oh, yeah, I remember when I was a woman once. Yeah, stuff like that. So, but that's all they got because, who the hell wants to put their face on this franchise now that was once so beloved? And when you destroy something that was so beloved, oh, boy, the hatred is seething, And do you really want to be known as that? Especially if you're a young actor, you're trying to get somewhere, and something like Doctor Who would be a dream job to get. Now suddenly it's a nightmare because now your face is always associated with that in its twilight years and death throes. Even though for the most part, it's not really your fault. It's, the producers, writers, and of course the BBC itself and its constant political sermons. Anyway, oh boy, there's always just so much negativity and nothing happy or good about entertainment in the form of movies and television. But there is one genre that still strives and survives despite most of the time being undead. And that's horror. Year after year now, horror breaks through. And one of the ways they do it is that a horror movie, even a great one, can be done really cheap. And as such was the case, well, I don't know, it probably did cost some money to do weapons. But nevertheless, it made it back in droves. But not nearly as expensive as, a superhero movie or something like that. And then smaller horror movies could come out and make bank. And such is the case with Obsession right now. I've seen the trailer. It looks pretty good. I'm going to have to check this one out. I don't think it's going to be on par with Weapons, as brilliant as that was, but it looks pretty good. And of course, the math is simple enough. If it's you can do that on the cheap, and you're going to make a profit. But anyway, there's a lot of factors that go into that, so I did a video on that as well. And we'll round out Nailsin Ratings Live with my look at Obsession. I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm just talking about the parameters and its success. But that's what I did. So I'll play that while what am I going to draw? Well, I guess I can draw the girl from the movie. Let me get an image up from her. Do I have one? No, I don't have one ready. So, yeah, bear with me for a minute. It'll take a bit while I go through my files. I have a horror file that has all the movies that I've reviewed and am going to review. Oh, I still haven't done my overview of Black Mirror. That's sitting in there. That's embarrassing. I should be ashamed of myself. And, well, I am. But, you know, after living a total embarrassment of a life, I gotta admit the shame doesn't really do a whole lot anymore. I just like, yeah, I screwed up. What do you want me to do? So, all right, there we go. I got a little image of her looking really scary and nutty from the movie. And I'll play my video on it. So there we go. Obsession box office. New Blumhouse horror movie becoming a big hit. Yeah, when it comes to, you know, movies, genres, horror is the one to, it's usually a pretty good bet. Even if it doesn't do all that overwhelmingly good, odds are you didn't spend a lot of money on it. So you could still make a profit, you know. But this one's catching on. Yeah, I don't know if it's on the level creatively with weapons, but, you know, you got something on your, yeah, it's a little, that's, you're going to want to take care of that, yeah. Whoops, looks like it can, yeah. Anyway, Obsession is fast becoming one of the new horror hits of the year. Blumhouse Productions and Focus Features release opened last weekend with $17.1 million at the domestic box office and has been holding strong during the week, including a $6 million second Friday. Box Office Mojo currently shows the movie nearly matching its opening Friday total, a big sign that word of mouth is kicking in, and word of mouth goes a long way these days, a lot more than it kind of used to. And that's a promising sign, you know, for movies overall. But again and again, it's horror that's the leader. So anyway, the movie could be closing in on $40 million by the end of the weekend, which would be, I guess it hit that. I don't know. This is a couple of days old. But which would be huge for a low-budget horror release. The numbers look even better when you factor in the budget. That's the thing. Obsession reportedly cost only $750,000 and $1 million to make. The film opened strong and has a current 95% Rotten Tomatoes score from both critics and fans. The A Cinema score is also near unprecedented for a horror flick, which usually average in the B range. For Blumhouse and Focus Features, that makes Obsession another example of why horror remains one of the smartest bets in Hollywood. A movie does not need a $200 million budget to break out. No, it doesn't. It needs a hook, a cast that works, and strong word of mouth. And that also is testament to a hunger for something interesting, you know. And so that's the word of mouth. Yeah, but you need to see this one. It's it's a weird one. It's good, or, you know, something like that. So Obsession appears to have all three. So, wait, what's it about? Well, the official synopsis says, after breaking the mysterious one-wish willow to win his crush's heart, a hopeless romantic finds himself getting exactly what he asked for, but soon discovers that some desires come at a dark, sinister price. Focus Features describes the movie as a horror story about Bear, played by Michael Johnson, who uses the one-wish willow after blowing his chance with Nikki, played by Indy Navarrete. Or Navarrete? I don't know. The wish works, but it comes with a twisted cost. Yeah, DC fans will know her from, these will recognize her from Superman Lois, where she played. Oh, crap, that was Superboy's girlfriend. Oh, yeah. Looks like she lost a lot of weight. But anyway, in Obsession, Navarrete plays Nikki, the crush at the center of the story. Michael Johnson plays Bear, the hopeless romantic whose wish starts the nightmare. Johnson is also known for voice work in video games and animation, while Obsession gives him a major live-action horror lead role. Is it like his first acting role in live action? Anyway, the cast also includes Cooper Tomlinson, Megan Lawless, and Andy Richter. Really? Well, Obsession is written and directed by Curry Barker. Barker has been getting attention as a new horror filmmaker, and Obsession looks like it could be the movie that puts him on the map with mainstream audiences. I don't play trailers because I don't know what the rules are, but I watched it. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty cool. However, the plot, I can't quite place it, but it does remind, I think it was a from the Crypt episode, or maybe, what was that? Or Tales from the Dark Side, other tales, these horror Twilight Zone wannabes shows, and something like that happened. This guy was able, some sort of magic or whatever, and got this woman to fall in love with him, and then she smothered him with her love, and he was like, oh my God. And it only stops until she dies, and then even after he tried killing her, she comes back from the dead to get him. I don't know if it's gonna go that crazy here, but that's basically it. He gets his wish, but of course, it's now she's overwhelmingly obsessed with him, and from the imagery, there he's already kind of, well, this is great. I'm in bed with the girl I've always wanted, and now he looks concerned and worried, And, oh, no, what happened here? And then, what's all this about? Oh, geez. So, it's a cautionary tale about careful what you wish for, So, anyway, it looks good, and by all accounts, probably is. A lot of other people seem to think so. So there you go. But it's an interesting metric about where movies are at the moment. And it's always great to see and hear something of this nature where a small budget movie beats out all these others that are just flushing money down the toilet and no payoff, no return. So there you go. And that's the thing. The lower the budget, the more creative you have to be. You've got to have that angle that's really intriguing and interesting to people. And then, and of course the crew and everything, like the article said. And that's what happens. Expensive pizzazz and all that stuff. Well, it's only icing. There's got to be cake. There's got to be cake. All right, there's some delay on my end, so it takes me a while to realize it's finished. That's, embarrassing. Let's see. Doug, have you reviewed the supernatural horror movie Good Boy yet? No, I haven't. This is the first time hearing of it, so I'll have to take a look at that. Good Boy. Is it about a dog that was a good boy and then suddenly, well, not anymore? It's like, well, I had to punish that dog. He was being a bad boy suddenly, and well, I had to discipline him, and he didn't get his special dog treats. So I had to learn his lesson. And then suddenly, well, good boy didn't like that. So then he starts massacring the whole family. They get stuck in a cabin in the woods. Typical, they thought, hey, we're going to go on a vacation and stuff. And good boys had it. And so eventually he's like, you're not good boy anymore. You're a bad boy. And the dog dives through the window to kill him. And, has to shoot him in the head with a shotgun. No, it says, it's on Disney Plus. Yes, it's about a dog. Wow, what are the odds? A D Plus movie? A horror movie on there? Huh. Of course, these days, they had that Daredevil show with, heads exploding and stuff. It's a weird time, I mean, they got Hulu. I thought they would have just put stuff like that on there. Oh, well. The dog is actually the main character. So it's like, is it like animated? Is he like talking and stuff? And it's like the people, his owners, become crazy. And he's like, something don't smell right. And I'm a dog, so I'm going to know. Something like that. That's a possibility. I don't know. So anyway, oh boy, there's one more thing I should do. And this Obsession movie gave me the idea of what to do. Oh, I got to do, well, I'll save that for later. Oh, crap, I didn't do my MLC cartoon thing. Well, I can save that for later, too. It'll keep. This can go. This can go. And I'll play a Nailsin News while I set up the Photoshop elements that I will need to do a Kumiya Show Photoshop. Won't that be fun? Let's, it says no live dog and the dog doesn't talk. Oh, wow. But is it told through he's the lead character and it's told through his perceptions? Yeah. Of course, that's like, remember the David Letterman would have supposedly the camera from his dog's eye view and the dog was doing stuff in the house. Yeah, those were good times. Anyway, let me get to this sad story of a naughty teacher for Nailsin News. Oh, I don't want it. I need it to be bigger than that. And then we'll come back with my Photoshop stuff. This is a Nailsin News Bulletin. A school teacher told her student that she was having sex with that she would leave her husband for him. Wow. That sounds serious. Beyond just the criminality of it all. Yeah. Heather Mashburn Smith, 37, gave a full post-Miranda confession about having sex with a boy while admitting she knew he was just a teenager. Well, yeah, she was his teacher. So, yeah. Well, the pair had chatted over Snapchat, with it turning flirtatious after the 17-year-old student told his teacher she was pretty. Well, let's take a look at the mugshot. Oh, dear God. Well, you know, mugshots, no one's at their best. Maybe dolled up, but good Lord, she's got 2 booger rings, and well, you know, anyway, the teen started making extra trips to Mashburn Smith's classroom in Port Charlotte High School, where they eventually kissed and had sex at least twice. During the disturbing tryst, the teacher complained about her marriage and told the boy she wanted to leave her husband for him when he turned 18, the legal age of consent in Florida. Well, that concerned the boy. It's like, hey, wait a minute. Who stopped chatting and blocked his teacher, who kept messaging him on chat. Mashburn Smith then admitted it all to cops, saying that she made a mistake. She admitted she knew the student was just a teenager. Right, you were his teacher. You're a high school teacher, so anyway. But said he made her feel desired. Yeah. I guess for some reason the husband doesn't really desire her as much anymore or something like that. But anyway, the educator was charged with unlawful sexual activity with minors, which carries a maximum sentence of 30 years in prison. What this woman has done is not just unlawful, it is damaging to the students and staff around her, Charlotte County Sheriff Bill Prummel said. To the staff around her? Well, I mean, it is embarrassing for the profession, I suppose. Yeah, and everyone's going to make jokes about us doing it too. Yeah, that's that's going to happen. Anyway, she was also suspended from Port Charlotte High School. The actions of this individual are a direct violation of the duty every educator owes to students and families. Charlotte County Public Schools Superintendent Mark Vianello. We will not tolerate anything that compromises student safety. This individual has been placed on administrative leave, so you know we're serious about it, as we work closely with law enforcement and pursue all accountability. Well, you see, this is where again, power of teachers' unions. I think if she had been a secretary or a counselor, get out of here. Because even, all right, so innocent till proven guilty and all that. She hasn't had her trial yet or anything. But she's confessed. And they got, I assume there's screenshots of this chat. Oh, that's all going to disappear, right? How many of these stories have to go? And you still think that, But anyway, there's enough there, not the least of which is her own confession. So she should be fired immediately. More times than not in these stories, it's the disgraced teacher who says, "Yeah, I'm resigning." It's like it's crazy, but that's the way it goes. Retired TNLEO. If I were in high school and were a tapping dat, I don't think I would be thinking about anything long term. 7-minute sessions separated by a few weeks would be sufficient. Those nose rings put her at about 2.0 to 2.5 on the 1 to 10 scale. And I sure would not be bragging to my buddies. Yeah, it doesn't indicate that he did, I'm assuming that's how it got out, but I don't know. Anyway, Stacey Abrams' bicycle seat. Dude, she's not even a 2. Agree. Well, you don't agree. He was saying she is. He says the nose rings put her at about a 2. Which I guess if she didn't have the nose rings, she'd be less, or she'd go up a few points. But, Look, she did a horrible thing. It's not nice to make fun of one's appearance and everything, but this is part of the punishment, you bitch, So, that's nasty. So anyway, there you go. She got caught. She said, "Yeah, I did it. I just wanted to feel wanted." And I guess he did for a minute or two, Yeah, I mean, All right, I'm gonna have to do it this way, I guess. Well, I really don't want that there. Uh, damn it. Man, good lord. This is a problem. I don't like it like this. Um, let's see. Maybe if I go back to the other layer, uh, share. Where's the damn share screen? In the super tip layer. Why is it just not there? Damn you. No. Okay, well, all right. Add new layer. No. Media, no. Screen share. All right. Yes. That one. Yes. Search what? Editors, guest speakers. It's. I guess. I don't know. Where's this? Crap, it's not going to let me do it. Oh, there it is. No. I mean, go back. And still not there. What the hell? Damn it, I wasn't even going to do this, and I get it all set up, and then you do this to me. What the hell? Why won't it? Just do the damn screen share. Holy crap. All right, I guess this is the only way I can do it. For you to see. That's pretty piss poor. But it is pretty much at the end of the show. So I guess that'll work. Thanks, Dave, Sarah. Yeah, I checked it on my own end to see that I could be heard, but damn it all. This is stupid. It should put the screen share in the new scene, but it's not doing. No, it's EV Mux, and I've done it before, but it's just not showing up. So all right. It's no big deal. I'll just go ahead. It's just a quick Photoshop I'm going to do here. So here's an image from the Obsession movie. There he is with the girl. Probably saw that in the video. He's already kind of like, oh shit, she's nutty. Even though it's like, how could he be this upset? I mean, my God, look at her. But obviously some things have already occurred. And that. So now we're going to make that guy Anthony. Now we're not going to make Anthony the girl. So we got these faces that are perfect for it. Oh boy, which one should be the one? Maybe this one. This one's got a little shadow on the side of his face, similar to the actor here. So I got to move my keyboard out so that I can control the images here. So we'll put Anthony there and zoom in on that. So, okay, he's sitting in bed there. You know, he's made this wish of, boy, I want this sexy girl to be all into me and stuff so you know, I can have relations with her. And, well, this has occurred, but oh, good Lord, is there a price to pay? So we're going to give Anthony the hair of the character here, star, actor, whatever, and all that. So, but Anthony's color isn't right, so we're going to have to fix that. But first, let me see. Yeah, the hair has all these bangs down. He's a young lad, you know. his first love, and he was awkward and goofy and shy around girls, and he just doesn't know how to seal the deal, you know. And it's like, damn it, if only there were like magic powers or something. And lo and behold, there are. So I'd never heard of the Willow Wish lore, but yeah, that's what they're going with in the movie. And that's what he does. So he makes the wish, and now she's all his. So here we go. We're kind of getting the color closer to what it's supposed to be. And here we have it. Poor Anthony. He kind of messed up again here, huh? Yeah, it's like there's probably already, I mean, I think there's been titles of movies called Obsession, you know. But I don't know if has there ever been a title of a horror, especially a horror movie, called Be Careful What You Wish For, or something like that. You know, it's an old saying. You know, careful what you wish for, you just might get it. And boy, a lot of times that one does play out. You know, there's this girl, and I just can't stop thinking about her. She's just, I'm probably gonna fall on my face, but I'm gonna take a shot and ask her out because I just got to do something about this. So you do, you know, and lo and behold, she's interested. Say, well, thank God for that. And then, well, down the road, you know, there's problems. You didn't know all that. You just saw, you know, she's got a nice ass. She's really pretty, and a nice ass, and she's got a pretty smile, and a cute giggle, and a nice ass, and her hair is long, and she smells great. And she's got a nice rack and a nice ass. And so that's all you're really thinking about. And then next thing you know, she's really nuts. And you're like, oh, crap. So then you got to get out of it. You know, suddenly it's like, yeah, she isn't the greatest thing in the world. And all I'm thinking about, the only thing I'm thinking about her now is that, oh, my God, she's batshit. And you got to get out of it. And you don't know how and stuff. And then eventually you do, and next thing you know, your pet rabbit's boiling on the stove and stuff like that. It's terrible. But there we go. There's Anthony. There's Anthony Cumia. And boy, it's a nice effect with his sock feet sticking up. That's the movie. But there he is with the girl of his dreams. And now the girl of his nightmares. And it's sad, you know. It's sad. Why can't this be love, like the song says, you know? But that's too bad. Let me fade out the Mr. Nailsin logo there. And then, well, maybe one more thing. Sir, one more thing. We'll fix it where, of course, you can't see me do it. For some reason, it doesn't show all the Photoshop controls that I have. But I got this compound censored background thing I made that I sometimes use for there's Anthony's face. Oh, what happened? Oh. All right. Going to have to fit it in. Don't really have it quite right, but we'll do something like that. That'll work. And then I'll move it down to the very bottom of the layers. And then I'll go back into this. And whoops, that's too big. And then we'll just take like the wallpaper out. See? So now it says compound censored. Yeah. It's as if the movie had starred Anthony Cumia instead and became a compound censored production. So it's like you get to see it first on compound censored, and then you see it in the theater. Well, my advice would be, no, send it to the theaters, and then it's like going to be exclusive for a while on Compound Censored for streaming, and then you're going to have to license it out, because if the movie's really that pop. Oh, damn it. I want to keep the pictures there so that it's like, the wall. The wall. All you are is another brick in the wall. All right. Yeah, or another pattern. Whatever. I don't even know what the hell the pictures are, but you get the deal. You get the deal. I think we all get the deal. Yeah. There you have it. Let me clean this up a little. Yeah. Yes. Yes. There we have it. All right. I'll send that over to Sean. Maybe it'll show up on an Anthony Cumia show at some point. You never know. So there we have it. Not quite. Well, let me blow it up for it. Well, I can't now because damn it. I already screwed this up too. That's embarrassing. But that's what happens. So anyway, there we go. Hope you enjoyed this, display of Nailsin stuff. And we'll do it again soon. So thanks for watching and all that goody gumdrop stuff. And now I'll see you whenevs. And we'll take care of that there. We sure will. Oh, wait. Yeah. Damn it. I had the wrong thing. Here we go. See, I'll show you the image before I play the ending theme song so you can see it. Let me get it bigger. Maybe like this. Well, damn it. It's not. Come on. Don't be. Well, all right. There. That ought to do it. That should do it. All right.
Pop goes the culture. Pop, 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 pop goes the culture. Myths and legends, granted escape to heaven. A darker, taller tale is a tour of hell. Pop goes the culture. Pop goes the culture. Pop, 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 pop goes the culture.
As the song goes, Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Turns out that was truer than most realize. People think Spider-Man shoots webs out of these devices on his wrists that he invented. This is true, but he also naturally shoots webs out of his ass. But webbing wasn't very practical, so he made the wrist things. However, sometimes, especially after a bout of diarrhea, Spider-Man ended up with his ass glued to the toilet seat. So when Dr. Octopus robs a bank or the Green Goblin bombs a hospital, people ask, where the hell was Spider-Man? Turns out he was stuck on the potty.